And gentlemen, thank you for stopping by my channel. Well, I was scrolling through my computer here and I found something very interesting. I looked up online. The convention, I looked up the 2019 JW convention in China. And, well, here's what I came up with. I came up with a Watchtower article, and it was visiting Jehovah's Witnesses in China. The Watchtower announcing Jehovah's Kingdom, 1950. 1950, 69 years ago. So, very interesting. So it says, I'll read it to you. It says, visiting Jehovah's Witnesses in China. Truly, it has been said that China, which is about 1/3 larger than the United States, which is actually larger now, is actually a sea. Yes, a sea of 463,500,000 people. Well, that is actually tripled, I believe. I would say it's about 1,463,500,000 people. Yeah, and even 1950, I would think it would be a lot larger than that, because 1982 it hit about 1 billion. So again, it's Watchtower's numbers, but again, China is way bigger than that. And like a sea, this mighty ocean of humanity has moved with the tides of time. China has enjoyed the welcome calms of peace during its 4,200 years of existence. But at the same time, it has had more than its share of lashing storms, having been tossed and torn and whipped about by famine and dreaded pestilence, political crisis, and bloody wars. Millions of Chinese people face death by starvation during the coming year because of the deplorable conditions in this land. We view the gaunt frames of adults. We note tiny children suffering from malnutrition. We are told that the conditions are so bad in some sectors that many have resorted to eating a clay pie mixed with weeds and grasses. This they call the goddess of mercy. Not only death through famine stalks China, but as the world well knows, a tidal wave of godless communism. See, now they're going political there. Tidal wave of godless communism has flooded the nation with bloody civil war and has routed the nationalist government out of the land. But regardless of these frightful conditions, many of the Chinese people have a bright new hope for the future, for they are the happy recipients of the kingdom message that, really, let me read that again. For they are the happy recipients of the kingdom message published by Jehovah's Witnesses in that land. Let's stop off for a moment in Shanghai and meet the Watchtower Bible Society branch servant, Stanley Jones. Wait, hold on. Let's stop off for a moment in Shanghai and meet the Watchtower Society branch servant, Stanley Jones, and obtain more information on the work of Jehovah's Witnesses in China. Yeah, shall we? This is from 1950. 1950, right there. Okay, Shanghai appears to be a disorganized mass of buildings on the banks of the Yangtze River. The harbor is choked with the famous Chinese junks and numerous other craft, all sizes and shapes. We see the coolies running about with their heavy loads balanced on the two ends of bamboo poles that rest on the laborers' strong shoulders. Branch Servant Jones and two other Gilead-trained missionaries stationed in Shanghai are anxious to tell about their increase in China. Yeah, right. And we listen attentively. The witnesses currently number about 300. Wow. That's the Shanghai Company of Jehovah's Witnesses is continually growing. To illustrate this, Stanley Jones relates the experience of a Chinese lady doctor who became interested in Jehovah's Witnesses following the visit of a publisher minister. I'm sure she just probably took the magazine, and that's why they called her interested. Okay. A Bible study was arranged. Rapid progress was made on learning the truth about the Trinity, hell, and the soul, she remarked. I never could really believe these religious doctrines. It was not long until she was engaging in the missionary work from house to house, though the efforts of with a group of nurses, and this study has already produced another new publisher. But what goes on at our next stop, Hong Kong? That's the only place they have witnesses currently now. And if you go to, I'll show you that they only have about 7,000 publishers or 5,000 publishers to the 7 million people, which is ridiculous. Look at the rest of China. I'll read on. Multitudes of people are on the move. Hundreds of men are running along the streets pulling their rickshaws. Actually, rather than reading all that, rather than bore you with this, again, you can go to this article, and if you want. But it says right here, something key right here. It says, China is getting a witness. Well, no, it's not. But there is so much more to do. So with that being said, if there's so much more to do in 2019, there's no witnesses. The very least, the Jehovah's Witness organization will have to admit that the end is way off. Just simply look at China. If the Watchtower God is really speeding up the work, he may want to rethink things. Oops. Sorry about that. I was going to show you. Here we go. And as you can see, there's Cambodia, Cameroon, Canada. And you can look in this. I did a video on this before about does the Watchtower God know where China is at? And it's not. China's not in here. But I was going to show you another thing that's really caught my eye. Is Cuba is almost 100,000 publishers, and they got 11.5 million people. But look at the rest of it. The disparity is absolutely terrible. If you're a witness watching this, examine if you're really in the faith by these numbers. Look at Indonesia, 261 million. You have that's actually fairly decent, and I'm going to give props to the Watchtower, but that's still terrible numbers. It's decent because you have 27,000, but 261 million people in Indonesia. Numbers are just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Hong Kong. There's Hong Kong right here. Okay. 7,389,000. You got 5,452 publishers. That's actually good. But if you examine it, look at the rest of China. There is none. And I wanted to show you again. I know I did a video on this, but it's worth looking at it again. India. 1,348,399 people, 46,996. So about 47,000 publishers. That's absolutely hideous numbers. It's just the disparity. The God is partial. At least the Watchtower God is partial. The true God is not partial. Again, like I say, examine if you're a witness watching this, examine it. Don't be fear-mongered. And that's the reason why Jehovah's Witnesses are Jehovah's Witnesses, because the fear-mongering, the death, the destruction at Armageddon awaits them if you leave. And that's how Armageddon teaches. Come on. Examine it. Don't be afraid. Examine. What's your motive to be in the faith? It's not the true faith. Examine it. Again, I'm repeating myself, I know, but it's worth repeating. Look at China. Look at the nations. Is Matthew 24:14 being completed? It's not. At least it's not in our day. the end is way off if the Watchtower God is love, and I mean, if it turns out to be the truth, and which it's not, but I'm just hypothetically saying. I mean, come on. You have to examine it. And China, 69 years later, there's still work to be done. Yeah. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, the evidence is there. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Please like, subscribe, share, comment.